Hey y'all, welcome to the Hillbilly Chicken Ranch. I'm Susan, your hostess. This is the Resourceful Homestead. You're looking at what remains of the ice on Friday, February the 6th, 2026 in our yard and our road. This was Snowmageddon 2026. Our gate is frozen there. This was also known as Snowstorm Fern. The winter storm was historic and devastating, and it was an event for West Tennessee and Middle Tennessee especially. While the primary participation ended nearly 2 weeks ago, the big chill that followed, with temps dropping into the single digits, paralyzed our region and left thousands in the dark until today, February 6, 2026. Memphis to Jackson saw 4 to 8 inches of snow and sleet, and with rain and freezing rain compacting it to slush and ice. Hardin and Wayne counties reported 1 inch or more of ice that turned trees into bombs that snapped under the weight of the ice on the branches. With dangerously low, below 20 Fahrenheit temperatures, it immediately followed the storm, turning slush into a solid sheet of ice, or as we want to call it, concrete ice. That still remains today. Hardest hit areas of power outages was Davidson County, which is Nashville. 600 people are still waiting for power to be restored, with 99% restoration expected by February the 9th. Shelby County, which is Memphis, most power was restored by February the 6th. Highest fatality count was 6. Hardin and Wayne counties were crippled by 1 inch of ice, with over 1,300 customers still without power. Madison County, which is Jackson, had down lines, and it hindered by road conditions, slowed recovery efforts. Hickman County was crippled due to fuel shortages like kerosene and propane early on. The side road controversy. While mayors weren't prepared, keeping the I-40 corridor open was a priority to keep it from being bottlenecked, and TDOT crews were diverted, and there was a breakdown in communications to the mayors. Mayors gave excuses, but no real answers. Not enough trucks to cover the mileage. Our county, the county of Madison, only have 7 trucks to sweep away ice, and they didn't use other resources that they could have used. Salt becomes ineffective at below 20 degrees Fahrenheit. County budgets didn't prepare enough liquid chemicals, salt, or sand before the storm hit. As of today, the state of Tennessee is ending its emergency hotline, but many neighborhoods remain ice-locked. Secondary roads are still reported to have slick patches and black ice during the overnight refreezes. The mayors gave excuses while building igloos with their children in their front yard, and they left the tax-paying citizens on the side roads stranded for over 2 weeks with no help in sight. So basically, no emergency ambulances or fire trucks could get down the side roads if there was a medical emergency for any citizen in our county. And this is not just our county, but counties across the board. They failed us in a tremendous way by not being prepared for such an event as this. Of course, we've never had a snowstorm quite like this. It covered over 200 million, I think it was. I can't remember the exact number. Over 2 million people across our country, our Midwest, all the way to the East Coast. Road graders could have been used to break up the ice. They could have loaded trucks with sand and salt to keep the roads from being slick, and yet they failed to do that in our area. The economic impact of the winter storm Fern has been immediate and for many remains unresolved as of February 6, 2026. While the state is moving into recovery phase, the combination of lost wages and spiked expenses have created a significant handicap for households across West Tennessee. Food spoilage is a concern for families still without power. Increased utility expenses and repairs, burst water pipes, and higher insurance deductibles face many in our region. The toll on the small business in West Tennessee has reported a double hit. They lost sales, business interruption without insurance coverage, as many standard policies do not cover power outages unless there is a direct physical damage to the building like a tree falling. Lessons learned on being prepared, because your only help may be just you. Always be prepared for 3 to 10 days for your immediate needs. The 10-day rule for isolation: you must be able to survive in your home for a full 10 days without a trip to the store. The kit: 2 weeks of shelf-stable food that doesn't require a microwave, and 1 gallon of water per person per day. Heat is life. Have a proper heat source for indoor use secondary to your main source, and a carbon monoxide detector. There's a turkey track in the snow and lots of footprints everywhere we go. It is an icy mess out here, but warmer temps are due, and we're hoping by the weekend this will all be past history. My husband came out 4 times a day during the worst part of this to make sure our flocks were fed. We made rice with vegetables and herbs to help their body heat stay up. We kept them indoors for a few days until the cold snap really passed before we allowed them out, and they get plenty of fresh water and food each day. And you can get snowblind out here, and it is bright. Like this little pile here is looking real bright, but when I get closer, you're going to see it's just a bunch of ice right there. And over here is a frozen spot of water and a frozen egg. This is a duck egg, actually, and I couldn't get it loose, so I broke it open so that the birds can enjoy it. You can see that there is some dry ground here, but it was a muddy mess yesterday before we refroze. I got up this morning with temperatures at 30 degrees Fahrenheit, and we are expecting it to get up around 50 degrees, I do believe. I didn't really check the temperature, but you can see everywhere we go, it's just ice. Everywhere we go. The ducks enjoyed it the most. I do have to break up the ice on the water buckets and add fresh water to them. Unfortunately, I can't empty them right now because they're frozen to the ground too. And here is part of the walkway going back to the house. And you can see I still have ice patches here, and I'm trying to be very, very careful walking because I am a fall risk. However, I am happy to start seeing some brown dirt underneath all of this ice and snow that we've had. And I can honestly say that we have made it through this Snowmageddon 2026 with very little problems with our resources that we had ready and prepared for an emergency. We did make a final trip to the store the other day, and we were able to get out, and you can see where I've been feeding our birds up by the gate. And there's that gate frozen. We're going to have to put something there to kind of keep our hens inside the backyard, hopefully for the most part. Most of them won't fly over something. We've got a couple of them that will. But that is a solid sheet of ice right there. And I'm trying to pull the gate, and it is just not going to move. So we still got some things out in the yard that should have been put up but never got there. And yeah, that gate's just not going to move.
The gate is frozen.
Also, the stick that I normally walk with outside was frozen solid, so I had to go with a pole that my husband had pulled. And now I'm going to walk down our driveway, and you can see the tire tracks there are a solid of ice, and you can see that I've been walking back and forth down the middle of this. I have tried using snow melt, and I've tried using rock salt, and I can honestly say it did not work during the freezing temperatures. There is our strawberry bed, and we've got strawberry plants poking their heads out. So they've survived. But this is really a icy trek going down here, and I've learned to sidestep, walk very slowly, walk like a duck to get where I need to go. I'm going to sidestep over here. Underneath our tree, surprisingly, is melted off pretty much. That's one of the compost piles there. But this is underneath our tree, and there's nothing there. Yet, look at our road. It's a sheet of ice. They've never cleaned it. They never came down our road. No one has been down our road really to check on anybody down this road as far as emergency management. That's the ditch by our property, the drainage ditch. It's icy as well. And my neighbors and we have been up and down our road a couple of times. My husband's been going to and from work for the last few days, and thankfully he had vacation time saved up so he didn't miss a paycheck. But y'all, pray for the folks that are still without power. We are very, very concerned, especially in Hardin and Wayne counties. They've been without power for over 2 weeks. So I would say make sure that you have at least 2 to 3 weeks of food and water supplies on hand in case of an emergency. Make sure you have your backup power sources charged up and a charging port for those at least. Keep your freezers and refrigerators closed as much as possible. I don't suggest putting your food outside because of animals, but if you have a back porch that you can put your refrigerated food on, that would probably be a good thing. Another thing is we've had to go out here several times a day to collect eggs, take care of our flocks, and for farmers that is a must. It doesn't matter what the temperature is. That's some of the snow built up there. And I thought this was really interesting right here. Right there. Unbelievable. A little dip in the snow. Like it froze over while it was falling. This is some of the ice that I've been breaking up. Trying to break it up so it will defrost and we can walk a little bit safer out here. And y'all, it has really been treacherous outside. I hope that you have been watching some of my shorts and my community post on this, and y'all have a blessed and wonderful day. Here's some content I think you might like. Thank you for visiting our homestead. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, hype, and share to help our small channel grow. See you next time for more simple living, frugal tips, and farmyard fun.